28 children disappeared, one by one, and when they were found, they were already dead, abandoned in woods, along roadsides, in dark rivers that carried their bodies like garbage. Some were found days later, others weeks, and some were never found. Between 1979 and 1981 in the city of Atlanta, Georgia, United States, a pattern of disappearances began to emerge. The victims had something in common. They were young, mostly black, many living in vulnerable conditions. At first, the cases seemed isolated. Children vanished, bodies appeared, but no one connected the dots in time. And as this continued, the number only kept growing. Over time, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The bodies were found in remote areas, strangled or asphyxiated, discarded like trash. The city fell into a constant state of tension. Parents stopped allowing their children to go outside. Schools, churches, and communities began to act as if they were under direct threat, because they were. Public pressure grew until a task force was created, involving the Atlanta Police Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and other local and state agencies. The Atlanta Missing and Murdered Children. Investigators began analyzing every detail, searching for any connection between the victims. Knowing that bodies were often being discarded in rivers, the task force began monitoring those locations. In the early hours of May 22, 1981, officers stationed on a bridge over the Chattahoochee River heard a splash. Something had been thrown into the water. Shortly after, a car left the area. The driver was Wayne Williams. He was stopped, questioned, and denied throwing anything into the river. No effective search was conducted at the time due to darkness and strong currents. 2 days later, a body surfaced downstream. Nathaniel Cater, 27 years old, possibly linked to what had been discarded that night. From that point on, the investigation shifted direction. Williams came under close surveillance. Evidence began to surface. Fibers found on victims' bodies were linked to his home, his car, specific textiles, even dog hairs consistent with the family's pet. It wasn't a single piece of evidence. It was a collection of details that, together, formed a pattern that was difficult to ignore. But at that time, not enough to directly tie him to most of the child murders. It was, however, enough to connect him to 2 adult homicides. In 1982, Wayne Williams was tried and convicted for the murders of Nathaniel Cater, 27, and Jimmy Ray Payne, 21. From that point on, after his arrest, the killings tied to the pattern suddenly stopped. For many, that was the confirmation many needed. But the case was never fully closed. Although investigators formally attributed many of the murders to Williams, he was never convicted for most of the children's deaths. Over the years, doubts began to grow. Was it possible that a single man committed all of these crimes? Or was Atlanta facing something far more complex? Perhaps more than one killer operating at the same time? Decades later, new forensic analyses were launched, attempting to revisit old evidence with modern technology. But even with scientific advancements, the case remains surrounded by uncertainty. Some answers have emerged. Others remain buried, perhaps forever. Because in the end, what haunts this case the most is not just the number of victims. It's the possibility that it was never just one killer, and that another was never identified.